Alright, so we're gonna see what I would do. So first one we did my cousins because he was deaf fucked bastard. But anyway, I'm gonna see the other choice. Not the one where you take divinity, but where everyone is divine, if I read that correctly.
After all that you have been through, and all that you have done, all that you have become, the Aeteran lies in front of you. Divinity is yours to take, or to sacrifice. What you do next decides your own fate, and the future of the world. What shall you do with divinity?
So we can become the new divine, fulfill your destiny, or give the source back to all the peoples, release divinity into the world when everyone is divine, no one is divine, or allow yourself all the world to be purged of its source, which leaves us hollow, and that's not really a life. So, well, he already became the guy. The ending was okay, I guess. The world is still shit. We're still battling the Voidwoken, but we had allies to fight them back. So I'm gonna see what this is. One for all.
And so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. When the dust settled, no new divine had risen. Instead, all source was released into the world for all the people and every creature to share. Everyone was now a sorcerer. And united, the peoples of Rivellon pushed back the God King into the very depths of the void. This ushered in a new golden age of peace and prosperity. But alas, it was not to last. With many greedy for wealth, power and position, the struggle soon began anew. Source, the very language of creation, was used in violence once more. The never-ending contest for power continued. As for me, my last hope of ever being freed of the God King's terrible tyranny faded when the Godwoken failed to seal the veil. An eternity of pain and suffering is mine, in service of the King, until the day I am freed, the day the God King returns.
Okay, so it's balanced, I should say, because even though we push back the Voidwoken, we don't need a new divine, but we managed to push them back, and we're back to conflicting each other because everyone has a source, everyone has that desire of power, and they want more of it. And I gotta say, this was like what Melody was talking about, like light and dark, yin and yang. So even though we didn't become new divine, we managed to push back the void, which is all that we hoped for. And I'm no longer revered. Now everyone can see spirits. Okay, I don't know how that worked when the first one was I was revered. But also, there's a slight problem that I have to deal with. Bitch. I'm just gonna boom. Keep smacking your ass for using Death Fog on me. Now you can stay there.
The spirit of the Red Prince looks out over the water with that same steady, malcontent stare he sported when you first met. He doesn't acknowledge your presence.
Well.
Malady stands tall and proud, sunlight sparkling off her mask. From here she looks almost angelic.
Well, here we are again. You, me, and the ship I've saved from ruin for your personal benefit. I'd say you owe me, but why state the obvious? Get an eyeful. I expect it's the last we'll see of each other for some time. I've a lot of planning to do, now that there's not to be a new divinity.
Yeah.
She drums her fingers testily on her crossed arms.
All that work, all that effort, tossed into the gutter like a malformed child.
Tell her the world about an almighty tyranny.
Has it taken you this long to figure that out? Never mind. I'll find another way. I always do.
Jeez, displeased.
She fingers the mask covering her face. For a moment it seems as though she's about to remove it, but instead she places a hand on your shoulder.
But it seems like she's more disappointed in me that I'm not Divinity rather than, you know, what she stated.
We've come a long way together. I did my best by you all the way. Sacrificed much. And I'd have given even more to see you fulfill your destiny.
She looks you up and down.
I guess this will have to do. Take a moment, why don't you? Relax. Enjoy. I certainly plan to do the same. Oh, I don't know. Around and about. Treat myself to some mead, a lover or 300. I'd say we've earned it.
300.
Perhaps our paths will cross again. Perhaps not. Until we find out.
Alright, so that's that one. Yeah, I had a much easier fight when I was controlling his character. Like, a lot easier, actually. So, it wasn't that bad. Only Sabel died, which is sad, because the Kraken summoned more people. It summoned the black ring, and one of them fucking critted Sabel again. Hey Han, I didn't even see you.
I feel weird, like I've got ants crawling in my belly. There is a matter I must attend to, however. My payment for all the stuff I've done for you. That'll be...
He taps his fingers and mouths silently while he counts, until he arrives at an acceptable figure.
1,300,000 dozen and 50 teen gold pieces. Now pay up.
Wait, what? 1,300,000 dozen and 50 teen gold pieces. No.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Oh.
Han ponders your suggestion for all of a second.
Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of milk! That sounds good, mister. But you better believe the bill for that will be a doozy.
Hey, Tarquin.
Source of all, eh? A bold move, I'll grant you that. I didn't think anyone considered the little people anymore.
So...
I don't know yet. Perhaps peace will reign and all will be equal. Or perhaps you've bestowed great power on undeserving children and turned them loose on each other. Time will tell, I'm sure. That is the question, isn't it? How does one top the greatest feat of necromancy ever conceived? I might have the answer to that. Tell me, have you ever heard of Gustavgen? No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language, unreadable to most, but myself naturally. It comes from a mysterious race from another world. Beings that feed on minds.
This is an expansion! Please be so. I want to go to another world, meet a mysterious race, and hopefully get a relationship, but that's not the point.
I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard portals to their realm. And once I've uncovered one, well, why settle for being the greatest mind in just one world, when there's another for the taking?
That's a bold move.
I'm buzzing. I don't know how else to describe it. But what you did, I want to say it was brave. Maybe it was, but it wasn't right.
Gareth is still. For a moment his mind wanders to memories of friends and enemies, of malady and magisters, of demons and divinity. He is then present once more, though hardly animated.
The people of Rivellon will call you their savior. You gave them the freedom you enjoyed at sea. And there will come a time when they rebel, just as you did. And the price will be high.
I'm not gonna promise that. It says that's a bunch of nonsense because you're gonna, yeah, right, they're gonna benefit people are little shits. So yeah, I haven't considered all the consequences, but that's already foreseen.
Clearly, you've blessed them and cursed them with a single choice. You didn't reveal your altruism. You revealed your greed. Power will be shared among the evil and the good, the light and the dark, the sky and the earth. They will enjoy equal source light, yes, but they will not be equal. I find a way to fit. I wasn't just content to lurk in Lucien's shadow. I was his shadow. Now I stand in the sun as my own man. I just don't know who that man is. So I find out, on my own, away from the storm that surely comes. The God King is defeated, but the door to the void is open, left there by the man I once thought would be divine.
So Gareth is not happy with my choice.
So, here we are, my darling. Sorcerers like everyone else in the realm. A bit boring to be so unexceptional all of a sudden, isn't it? Then again, I suppose they can't fit all of us in Fort Joy.
I want to live in this world.
They haven't all met me. Ah well, some things just can't be helped. That quite depends on you, I suppose.
She laughs, and it's music to your soul.
We want each other, after all. We love each other, after all. Let others play the game of gods. Love conquers even divinity.
And Lose?
Hey there, Chief. So, a world full of sorcerers. What do you make of it?
It'll be utter chaos, yes. Yeah, fuck the world.
I suppose it will. Never hurts to shake things up a bit. Spice of life and all that. Get loot, play loot, get glad. So, Chief, I guess this is it, right? You say that now, but who knows what adventures and redheads life will throw at you. Whatever it is, you'll ace it.
As she turns from you, the whites of her eyes darken, the veins in her face go grey, and a wicked smile curls her mouth. Suddenly it's gone again. She winks, and you're left wondering whether you saw anything at all.
See you around.
I suppose it's time for me to explore a new form of eternity.
It gives
me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does to be whole again. Consider me to be a gift from Malady. My wood was splintered, but my spirit intact. It was a great feat, but given her skill, not a surprising one. I cannot say whether the future brings peace or pain, but I will always be an ally to those that carry Source, to those whose blood is of the heroes of old, and so, as always, I am at the ready.
Well, that's it. We talked to everyone.
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light plays upon the waves, just as it always did. The sails flutter in the wind, just as they always will. And yet, something is different. You are different. And with a start, you realize where you must go next. You speak the command to the Lady Vengeance, and another chapter begins. The world was at peace, at least for now. With its significance as the seat of divinity diminished, Arx fell into decline, and within 7 generations had emptied. Few were as prepared for the new world as the lizardkin of the ancient empire. With power spread equally throughout the world, the advantage lay with those who knew how to steal it, and at this the lizards excelled.
Rip.
Justinia returns to her throne. Under her rule, the Dwarven kingdom prospered, until 2 years later a jealous lover stabbed her in the heart with a mutton fork.
Wow.
With their power returned, the elves reclaimed their lands from the death fog and began to rebuild. Soon they would split as 2 factions sought power, one to bring back the trees, the other to bring back the scions. A dwarven joke did the rounds. It ends with the punchline, "So Lucian dropped the death fog on them again."
Wow.
Only the elven Godwoken could bring the elves together once more. And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more.
That's bad.
The island of Fort Joy, the old redoute of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort.
Awesome.
Reaper's Coast prospered.
That's good.
The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen.
Really good.
Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world.
Huh.
The Black Pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood became a centre of industry, trade and transport. Lohar the dwarf became mayor. His time in office was cut short by an unfortunate wound that spontaneously appeared on his neck. Lagan left his over-demanding wife and began a relationship with a local bard. In the spirit of loving generosity, he returned the ring to his now ex-wife. In a fit of rage, she threw it into the sea.
Wow.
You would never forget Dorothea's kiss. Dorothea herself left Driftwood for the ancient empire, ever in search of the perfect kiss. She never found it, although once or twice she came close. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Millennia later, adventurers would come in search of the legendary divine city of Arx and the crypt of the great Lucian. None would pass the path of blood. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with the rising chaos, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors.
Huh.
With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon, and so her search continued.
Aw, why didn't she come to us?
Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again.
Like I said, expansion.
With the source released to the world, Ahu the wizard spent more and more time as a cat. One day he decided he would not change back.
Okay.
With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. With more undead than ever before, she founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering them shelter from hatred and fear.
That's really good.
As the forests grew anew and the elves were equals at last, Sahala shared elven knowledge of source with the world. But some elves disagreed and plotted against her.
Don't you dare kill her.
Chief amongst her opponents was Tova, Sahala's own mother. Sabine wandered the world. She became a household name, famed the realm over as a traveling hero, celebrated wherever she went. Enjoying life to the fullest, she was truly and finally free. Lohse returned to her music and enjoyed a storied career as Rivellon's premier musician. Dark moods would at times overtake her, and she would spend long hours walking in the wilds. She always returned with a new song. And then there was you. You returned to the world a sorcerer among many. Your future was yours to decide. Did you accept your new status with humility? Only you know the truth. Only you know if you atone for your sins.
And that's it. I gotta say, that was probably a much better ending. Because when my cousin turned into Divine, the world was utter shit. But in here, even though there is conflict, the world is their own. And even though there is war among ourselves, we fought the void back, and we're just living back like it's normal, like it's the way it's supposed to be. So that was good. I guess that was a better ending. Not sure. I kind of want to see what would happen if I close the veil, get rid of all the source. So maybe I'll see it. I mean, I did quick save at the end of the fights, so I could see that choice. But anyway, that is it for now. When we come back, I might as well show the ending where we close the veil. So this is my ending with Beast giving the source to everyone. And then I guess the next one, we'll see what would happen if we close the veil. So that's it, and have a good day.